Hi everybody, my name is Natalie Wilkinson. I am a registered dietitian in Ontario. I'm here today to talk about calcium and ways that you can increase your calcium intake. Again, I'd like to disclose the following, and again, I'm going to read it straight off the page because I do not want to make any errors. The information the Canadian Celiac Association provides does not replace your relationship with your doctor. The information is for your general use, so be sure to talk to a qualified healthcare professional before making any medical decisions or if you have any questions about your health. We, the CCA, do our best to make sure that the information we provide is accurate and reliable, but we cannot guarantee that it is error-free or complete. The CCA is not responsible for the quality of the information or services provided during my session today, nor do they endorse any service. All right. So with that out of the way, I'd like to talk about calcium in the context of bone health. Dr. and I'm sorry, I'm going to pronounce this wrong, but Dr. Dominika Gedrevcic is going to be talking in more detail about bone health later on today, so please tune into her conversation. But just briefly, bone health issues might seem like an unlikely consequence of celiac disease, but they're actually quite common. So again, when you have celiac disease and you're not following a strict gluten-free diet, there is damage done to the lining of the small intestine, and this interferes with the absorption of certain nutrients, including calcium. So the malabsorption of calcium can lead to osteoporosis. Signs of osteoporosis include frequent bone fractures, chronic bone pain. And sometimes the diagnosis of osteoporosis actually leads to or precedes the diagnosis of celiac disease. And sometimes individuals who get diagnosed with celiac disease are then informed that they do have issues with their bone health. So sometimes the osteoporosis comes first, and sometimes it's identified around the same time as celiac disease. In any case, I am going to share with you a few lifestyle strategies for ensuring optimal bone health. So the first, if you have celiac disease, is to maintain a strict gluten-free diet, obviously. Secondly, ensuring adequate amount of calcium, usually from food and supplement combined. So for adults, it's roughly 1,200 to 1,500 milligrams per day. In addition to calcium, it's recommended that you get a vitamin D supplement as well. Something like 800 to 1,000 international units per day. And that's regardless of your exposure to sun. So this is a supplement that would be recommended in addition to dietary sources of vitamin D and regardless of sun exposure. And then exercising regularly is healthy for bones, as is smoking cessation if you're currently a smoker, and limiting alcohol consumption. So for today, I am limited again to about a 10-minute segment. So I'm going to focus on calcium and food sources of calcium. We've been having a bit of problems with the internet connection here. It is a bit slow. So during the last talk that I gave, I wasn't actually able to see any of the comments as they came up, so I apologize. But please feel free to message me during this talk if you have any comments or questions. And if I see them, I will do my best to respond as best as I can. I also have some help in the background. There are a few ladies sitting in front of a computer working for the CCA who might be able to answer the questions as they come up too, if I am unable to do so right away. So let's talk about dietary calcium. The best sources are dairy products, so milk products, and milk alternative products. So we're talking about milk, yogurt, kefir, cheese, all sorts of cheeses, cottage cheese, cream cheese, hard cheeses, soft cheeses, and then they're lactose-free or dairy-free alternatives. The only thing you need to be careful of is that these milk alternative products are not often fortified, or not always, I should say, fortified with calcium. So when you're looking to ensure an adequate intake of milk and milk alternative products, if you're choosing these milk alternative products for whatever reason, lactose intolerance is common with individuals with celiac disease, you want to be sure that they're fortified with calcium to the same extent or greater as their dairy counterpart. So if we're talking about milks, soy milks, almond milks, rice milks, you wouldn't want to consider them the equivalent of a cow's milk unless they were fortified with calcium. And you'll see the fortification there in the list of ingredients. You'll also see that the calcium content is greater if you're looking at the nutrition facts panel. We have just a few nutrients in the very bottom. Calcium is one of those nutrients, so you should see information for calcium on the nutrition facts panel, but I would encourage you to also look at the ingredients to make sure that it's been added. And often these products are marketed as enriched. So an enriched soy milk or an enriched almond milk is a good indicator that they have added calcium to them. Some vegetables also are good sources of calcium. I'm only listing a few. I'm not going to go through all of the different foods and food groups that contain calcium. I have provided the CCA with a few handouts. So they're going to be made available to you on the Facebook page as well as the website, www.celiac.ca. One of the handouts gives you ideas on how to increase your calcium intake, and the other is a list of some common foods and their calcium content. But some good sources of vegetables, just to quickly review, are spinach, kale, collards. Now you can buy pre-washed in those plastic containers, spinach and kale. You can easily add them to sandwiches, salads, include them in omelets and whatnot. You can buy spinach frozen. I don't know how easy it is to find frozen kale. To be honest, I've never quite looked, but frozen spinach is readily available and can be easily included into a variety of recipes. So if you're looking for additional calcium from vegetables, those three are some good options. Oh, I'm seeing some comments here, but I'm not actually seeing them. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. I'm just going to take some time to read these comments here. Tired of hearing people tell me that I'm not getting enough. Okay, so Bonnie is making some good points about getting calcium from non-dairy foods. So right now I am sharing some information about vegetables that contain calcium. Some good seafood options are salmon, sardines, anchovies. So if you like those foods, and they do have a good amount of calcium. Some beans and nuts also contain good amounts of calcium. So the white beans, navy beans, almonds are good sources. If you can include them regularly into your diet, great. Some people have extremely hard tap water as well. So depending on where you are in Canada, I studied in Guelph, Ontario, and the water was extremely hard. I couldn't keep a kettle clean for very long. The calcification buildup was incredible. So if you live in a community where the tap water is extremely hard, I don't know how much calcium exactly you'd be getting from that water. I'm not even sure if there's a way of assessing how much calcium you're getting from your tap water, but it might be interesting to inquire about that if you suspect that your tap water is pretty hard, because you might be getting a significant amount just from your tap water. But if you are following a non-dairy diet, you can get calcium from food, but you have to be more conscious of where you're getting your calcium from. So Bonnie, I encourage you to take a look at the one handout that I've provided to the Canadian Celiac Association with a list of common foods and their calcium content. But let's face it, if you've been recently diagnosed with celiac disease and you've been told that you have issues with your bones and that you should take or increase your calcium intake, the guideline is to take a supplement in addition to gaining calcium from food and diet. And in my experience with patients, they're already struggling with the gluten-free diet to begin with. You don't want to make your life more complicated than it needs to be. So if you can't get the calcium, so to alleviate kind of the pressure on finding all of these specific foods that contain calcium, a good way to go about it is to find a decent dose that works for you for calcium, and ensure those 2 to 3 servings of milk or milk alternatives, and make sure that those milk alternative products are fortified with calcium. That kind of gives you a bit more freedom to eat the variety of foods that you enjoy without having to focus too much on whether or not they contain significant amounts of calcium. You're already going to be analyzing your food for gluten. So to kind of make your life a bit more easy, or especially in the beginning, if you're newly diagnosed and struggling a lot just with the gluten itself, having that supplement does alleviate some of the pressure of looking for calcium in all of your foods. Any other questions? Not really. So in closing, I do just want to acknowledge SHAR for sponsoring today's events and encourage everybody to make a donation to the CCA. It's an excellent organization, and it is useful not just for individuals who have been diagnosed with celiac disease, but for health professionals like myself who need guidance and tools to help individuals with celiac disease. So yeah, please, please, please donate. I'm not just saying that because I've been asked to be here today. Ever since I first saw a patient with celiac disease, I contacted the CCA for support, you know, and I do that regularly. They're an excellent association, and they really have a wealth of knowledge here to support individuals and healthcare professionals. So if you have the means, please make a donation, okay? And again, the handouts that I mentioned are going to be posted on the Facebook page, I believe, and the website. So if you did want a bit of extra information on calcium, please check those out, okay? Good luck, everybody. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.